Hello everyone, welcome to this new patch notes rundown. Today we will be taking a look at patch 5.6. So, if you haven't been noticing, the patch notes seem to be more frequent than before, which is not a bad thing because it gives Riot Games more time to adjust to things. Like they can fix their previous their previous mistake more frequently. So now Aatrox has his ultimate grants him 20% of his passive, the Bloodwell, for each enemy hit in his when he activates his ultimate. For Amumu, this is a bug fix. Tiber's damage has been lowered in the early ranks but higher in the later ranks. So this is a buff to Annie in the late game, but clearly enough a nerf for like all-in Annies. Let's say support Annie bot lane with a Corki or something, or Annie in the middle lane that can all-in easily. So clearly there has been some bad things going on with Bard. Apparently his win rate was really low, so they decided to buff him overall. His Q damage went up. His magical journey, his E cooldown went lower by significantly, like 26 second to 20 second for first rank, and also it is now more forgiving when going through the portal. It was quite difficult to go through the portal before. Like you had to click on the tunnel and not at the gate to be able to go through. That was like the little technique to be able to go through the gate. Now it is more forgiving, so it might be more like a Thresh Lantern or Thresh Lantern. Clones can go through now. A bug fix. So Cassiope. Okay, so if you didn't know, Cassiope passive gave her 30% more AP at a certain amount of stacks permanently. Okay, so this combined with that Rabadon Death Cap was super strong. But now the way the math works is that it will give 12% less bonus AP than it used to be before. Okay, so you will get less AP overall in Cassiope. Overall buff for Elise's, they removed 5 movement speed in her human form, but she gained 10 movement speed in her spider form. Also, you can now right click when you want to go down on a target when you're up in the air with your repel. And the cocoon is the range on the cocoon, the missile speed on the cocoon is faster, so it is going to be harder to dodge. For Evelynn, her Shadow Walk, her passive is now going to be better in the late game. So the map control and the late game ganking is going to be better, which is a good thing because ganking, like getting a kill in the late game, is really more impactful than in the early game. Also, this is a big buff to Evelynn. Her W, her movement speed and movement speed debuff removal got buffed by a lot. So now every time a spell hits, it will reduce Dark Frenzy's cooldown by 1. So it is going to be better because let's say you're chasing somebody and you keep spamming spells on them, right? You're Evelynn, you're gonna spam your Q, so you will be able to keep on running after them longer and longer. Well, if your mana allows you to. So Galio's Tornado, his E is got a cooldown buff in the late game, but a slight nerf in the early ranks. Aurelia, better nerf Aurelia again. Aurelia got nerfed. It is only the flat damage that got nerfed. 40 in the late ranks, like in the late game, is not so bad. So it is going to be fine, I guess, because we've seen some Aurelias around here and there lately. Katarina got she got nerfed in the early game. She is more squishy in the early game, but will be more tanky in the late game. Like at rank 16, 17, 18 or something, she is going to be more tanky, flat more tanky, but the health regen is going to be lower. So this is a direct buff to her laning phase. Karthus auto attack is better now. Clearly they nerfed LeBlanc because she was being spammed a lot, especially in the competitive scene. Her ratio got nerfed. Bug fix on Lux, Nidalee, nothing to see here apparently. So cooldowns on Nocturne's ultimate got lowered. This is better for him in the early game because Nocturne is really good ganker at level 6, but he doesn't do super good before level 6. So giving him a little boost at level 6 is something necessary because we haven't seen Nocturnes overall lately. For Quinn, well, overall bug fix now resets Quinn's basic attack upon landing. So the E, whenever she dashes on you, I believe, and she just goes back, well, jumps back, it resets it. It resets the auto attack. So it is now if you're good at Quinn, it is going to be more rewarding. The mana cost on Rammus's cool Powerball got down, which is something good for Rammus. Look at the cost in the late game, 110, and now it's 80, so 30 less, like overall 25% less mana. It is really good in Rammus because he is depending on his spells a lot. He's not someone that just auto attacks, so it's pretty good for him. I was already expecting some ryze. Oh, well, no pun intended, but I was expecting some ryze rising. And this is going to ensure that ryze comes back into the scene. So I'm really expecting some ryze popping here and there in solo queue and competitive play. So for Sejuani, okay, the damage on her W got nerfed, and well, this is an overall nerf to Sejuani because the slow on her ultimate. Everybody knows that if Sejuani hits you with like a direct hit on you with her ultimate, it will put you into a block of ice. But if she misses, it used to slow you by 90%. Let's be real, 90% is nearly a snare. Okay, you're basically stuck there at 90%. So now it is going to make it so if Sejuani fails, it is going to be harder for her to catch up to you, and well, for the rest of the team too. So it's more rewarding if you position yourself well in a team fight against a Sejuani. So Sinch now has a percentage max HP damage on his spell, his fling. So now if he flings a tank, it is going to be it is going to hurt a little bit more because 8% of target's max HP is quite a lot actually. So we'll have to see if this makes him OP or not. I believe not, but we'll have to see. Not taking any, not stating any facts here. Okay, so damage to monsters reduced on Science Q, and also his E, bonus pass through the damage bonus. Sorry, got reduced by 20, which is like 40% for 40. Well, it is going to hurt 40% less from the bonus. Let's be real, Sign was a real bully in the top lane, right? So this is going to be good for other top laners that couldn't get Sign either because he was banned or he was picked already. They buffed Twitch in the early game because you had to wait a couple of levels before gaining the extra damage on his passive. So now you already start at 2. So this is like double his damage from his passive in the early level. Scaling up to 6. They buffed Veigar. He will have a little less problem with his mana. His Q got buffed by 100 range. And also this is super good for Veigar. Whenever he puts down his cage, his E, you will not be able to dash through it. So let's say you had Lucian or Graves, and Veigar puts down his cage on you. If you dash through it before, you would be able to dash through it, but you would be stunned, right? So now you won't even be able to dash through it. You'll be stunned, but you'll be stuck in there. Vel'Koz can stop his ultimate when he takes Thirst Lantern now. Yorick, 50%, well, 50 range more on his range, on his Q range, which is good. I've seen quite a bit of Yorick lately, so maybe he'll come back. We don't know. Mana cost reduced on Ziggs Q bouncing bomb. I don't think this will bring back Ziggs, because what makes Ziggs before is that he could easily wave clear, so he could easily control one lane, and he could control the other side lanes if he was in the middle, of course, with his ultimate. But now, since they nerfed the range on his ultimate by quite a lot, he will not be able to be as strong as before, that's for sure. So I don't know if we'll see back some Ziggs. Brazilian buff overall, they've buffed the ratio on his Q, they buffed the mana cost, meaning it got lowered. It is still quite high in the early game, because you still spam his Q, right? Like, Zilean is all about his Q in the laning phase, and 60 per Q is something, like, it is costing him a lot of mana at the moment. But they buffed the mana cost on his rewind, his W, which is going to be it is like a direct buff to his Q also, because you were spamming your Q and your W in the combo. And also the rewind got buffed. The cooldown got lowered in the early levels, which is really, really good for the laning phase. And the mana on time warp will be forever 50. Texture balance. So Chalice of Harmony got a cost buff. So this is pretty good. For mid laners, honestly, 100 gold, well, it is like, well, one pot and one ward. If you like take out the 5 gold there, do not tell anyone. So it is like one pot and one ward, so it is pretty good for mid laners, or it's actually like 3 pots or around. But this is really good for supports, because supports, they generally do not have a lot of gold. So 100 gold for a support is something that is really appreciable. So thank you, Riot, for that. They balanced the gold cost for Chalice's upgrades. And also, Athene's Unholy Grail will give more mana regen now, and also restore your mana by double the amount they used to give you. Bug fix for this item. So Scroto, well, let's call it the crab. So now the crab will give you way less vision than before. It's nearly like 1/3 of before. Well, let's say 2/5 of before. So this, this is less than an auto attack range from a standard 80 carry to have a comparison there. So this is quite small. Even though the speed buff is still going to be there. The crab will have less importance, that's for sure, because the vision before 1350 was really impactful in the game. 525 is somewhat impactful, but really less than before, that's for sure. So people will give less importance to the crab now. But junglers, of course, they will be trying to get the crab in the early game, because, well, in the early jungle route, because getting a crab didn't cost you any HP, right? Because the crab does not hit you. So it is going, I think it's still going to be killed by the junglers in the early routes. Base gates. I think this is like at the fountain. This is not the gates, but I think this is at the fountain, right? Yeah, Summon is a rift. Oh, I can summon pets now there. I don't know why you do that, but whatever. Maybe to stack something like yeah, Ancestor in your team's base gate. Do they mean like right at the limit of it, like right on it, or I don't know? We'd have to see if this is the fountain or like the real gates. But I don't know if it's going to be of any use. Well, maybe because if you summon, let's say, a Hammer Raiding your turret, like at the limit of the gate, like right on the gate, melee champions might not be able to hit it, so it will grant you some like free vision, or like you'd need the enemy would need a ranged champion to hit it. I don't know. We'll have to see that. So jungle XP. So now when you clear a jungle, wait, this is in total jungle gives more a bit at higher levels. Okay, so this is pretty good. So now whenever you fell a gank, you will gain more experience from the jungle depending on your level. So it is going to let people gank more and be less afraid of failing ganks. Oh, they removed the word beta. Blah 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 blah. Bug fix resolve. Windows 10. Okay, Rayguard. Blah, blah. Okay, so that's it for this patch. So in the comments below, you can tell me if you like the patch note. What do you think is going to pop up more? Do you think it's going to be Ryze, or do you think other champions are going to be less played? Like, what do you think about Bard, etc.? Or if you have any feedback to this patch note rundown. And also, if you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, share it to other people so they can look at the patch note rundown so they do not have to read it. And yeah, thank you for listening.